In a nation where ancient wealth hides behind modern skylines, power doesn't always wear a crown. Sometimes it signs a contract. From the silver veins of Zacatecas to the glass towers of Mexico City, generations of families built empires that shaped the country's destiny. Some began with nothing but dust and faith. Others inherited kingdoms carved from industry, politics, and silence. But behind every fortune lies a story of ambition, sacrifice, and secrets that money can't erase. These are not just the richest families in Mexico, they are the architects of its power. And yet, for every dynasty that rose, another fell into shadow. Their stories reveal one truth: in the pursuit of legacy, even empires have limits. In the number 10 position, we have a dynasty born not from steel or oil, but from water, pure, bubbling, and alive. The Barragan family, the force behind Mexico's legendary Topo Chico, turned a simple mineral spring into a symbol of prestige that quenched both thirst and ambition. Their story begins in the quiet hills of Monterrey, where the family discovered a natural spring believed to have healing powers. What started as a local curiosity soon became a national treasure. Bottles of Topo Chico flowed into every corner of Mexico, a liquid echo of the Barragan legacy. But their true genius wasn't just in bottling water, it was in bottling culture. When Coca-Cola came knocking, it wasn't just a business deal, it was the world recognizing Mexican heritage itself. And yet, one family's rise through bubbles and silence was only the beginning. The next dynasty built its empire through power. In the number 9 position, we meet a family whose fortune was forged not in factories or mines, but in the corridors of power. The Hank family stands as one of Mexico's most enigmatic dynasties, where politics and business intertwine like shadow and light. It began with Carlos Hank Gonzalez, a teacher who dreamed bigger than his classroom. With charm, intelligence, and connections, he rose through political ranks, turning influence into industry. Banks, hotels, and infrastructure followed, a network so vast it blurred the line between government and empire. His son, Carlos Hank Roan, inherited more than wealth. He inherited a legacy of control. The Hank name became both admired and feared, a symbol of Mexico's elite power circle. And yet, behind their fortune lies a question whispered for decades. How much power is too much? The next family didn't seek influence, they brewed it. In the number 8 position, we uncover a dynasty that built its fortune from something far more intoxicating: beer. The Aramburuzabala family rose with the golden foam of Grupo Modelo, the empire behind Mexico's most iconic brew, Corona. Their legacy began in the early 20th century, when Pablo Aramburuzabala helped lay the foundations of a brewery that would one day conquer the world. But it was his granddaughter, Maria Asuncion Aramburuzabala, who turned inheritance into innovation. She transformed the family's wealth into a modern financial force through Tresalia Capital, investing in tech, real estate, and global ventures. Her elegance hides a fierce business mind, a blend of old money poise and new age power. From brewery floors to boardrooms, the Aramburuzabala story proves that wealth can be both traditional and visionary. But the next family didn't bottle dreams, they sold them one store at a time. In the number 7 position, we find a family whose empire began with a single shop and a dream stitched into credit slips. The Koppel family turned simplicity into strategy, transforming small-town retail into one of Mexico's most powerful consumer empires. It started in 1941 when Enrique Koppel Tamayo opened a modest store in Sinaloa. He offered something rare: trust. Customers could buy first, pay later, and in return, loyalty grew faster than profit. That loyalty became Grupo Koppel, a retail and banking giant serving millions across Latin America. Today, their name stands for accessibility wrapped in quiet affluence, the subtle face of old money that still understands the value of every peso. The Koppel story isn't about luxury, it's about legacy built from the ground up. But next comes a dynasty born not from customers, but from the shimmering veins of the earth itself. In the number 6 position, we encounter a dynasty that turned silver into sovereignty. The Baillères family, guardians of Grupo Baillères, built an empire from the glitter of Mexico's soil and the elegance of its high society. Their story begins with Raúl Baillères, a visionary who saw wealth beneath the dust of Zacatecas. Through Industrias Peñoles, he made Mexico the world's largest silver producer, and with El Palacio de Hierro, he gave its elite a palace to shop in. His son, Alberto Baillères, expanded the legacy, blending mining, insurance, and education into a kingdom of industry and influence. To this day, the Baillères name whispers through Mexico's financial halls like a symbol of quiet nobility, refined, enduring, and unmistakably powerful. But the next chapter tells a different tale, not of minerals or luxury, but of media, money, and one man's quest to rule the modern marketplace. In the number 5 position, we turn to a family that mastered the art of turning ambition into empire. The Salinas Pliego dynasty built its wealth not from inheritance, but from vision. A modern empire rooted in commerce, media, and finance. It began with Hugo Salinas Rocha, who founded a small appliance store that promised opportunity to Mexico's working class. But it was his son, Ricardo Salinas Pliego, who transformed that spark into a fire. Through Grupo Electra, Banco Azteca, and TV Azteca, he built one of Latin America's most influential networks, a fusion of money and media that shaped how millions buy, borrow, and believe. To some, he's a symbol of progress, to others of power unchecked. Yet few can deny his role in redefining wealth for the digital age. Still, the next family didn't build visibility. They built silence, hidden deep beneath the copper earth. In the number 4 position, we uncover a fortune carved from stone and silence. The Larrea family, heirs to Grupo Mexico, built one of the world's largest mining empires, a dynasty forged from the copper veins of the earth. It all began with Jorge Larrea Ortega, a man obsessed with extraction, not just of minerals, but of opportunity. His son, Germán Larrea Mota Velasco, transformed that vision into domination. From copper to railways, the family's reach stretched across continents, hidden behind corporate walls and guarded wealth. Their power lies underground, both literally and symbolically, unseen, yet shaping economies and landscapes alike. But with great fortune came controversy, environmental disputes, labor battles, and whispers of unchecked influence. Still, the Larrea Empire endures, its core as unyielding as the metals it mines. And next, we meet a family whose wealth wasn't buried, it was built tower by tower across the nation. In the number 3 position, we find a dynasty that rose not from the earth, but from the skyline. The Legorreta family built their legacy through architecture, banking, and real estate, shaping the face of modern Mexico with every structure they raised. It began with Ricardo Legorreta, an architect whose vision transformed concrete into culture. His bold designs redefined Mexican modernism, while his family quietly expanded into finance and development, creating a bridge between artistry and affluence. Over generations, the Legorretas evolved from creators to curators, preserving the balance between wealth and national identity. Their empire stands not only in steel and glass, but in ideals, proving that elegance and innovation can be inherited just like fortune. But the next dynasty didn't draw plans or mine copper. They built connections, mastering the language of politics, legacy, and silent power that shapes nations. In the number 2 position, we arrive at a family whose influence runs through Mexico's veins, not through mines or media, but through power itself. The Gonzalez family, descendants of political and banking titans, built an empire where governance and commerce walk hand in hand. It began with generations who understood that wealth means little without control. Through Grupo Financiero Banorte and vast industrial ventures, they turned policy into profit and networks into dynasties. Each move was calculated, each alliance deliberate, creating a legacy that balanced diplomacy with dominance. Their story is one of quiet authority where the real decisions are made behind closed doors, long before they reach the public stage. The Gonzalez name became synonymous with Mexico's enduring elite, polished, strategic, and deeply rooted. And yet, there remains one family above them all, a name so vast it transcends wealth itself, shaping Mexico's destiny. In the number one position, we reach the summit, the dynasty that turned ambition into a monument. The Slim family, led by the legendary Carlos Slim Helú, stands as Mexico's most powerful symbol of modern wealth. Their story begins with Julian Slim, a Lebanese immigrant who arrived with little more than determination. His son Carlos took that modest foundation and built an empire that spanned continents. Through Grupo Carso, Telmex, and America Movil, the Slims didn't just shape Mexico's economy, they reshaped communication itself. At one point, Carlos Slim was the richest man in the world. Yet behind the numbers lies a philosophy of patience, precision, and relentless reinvestment. The family's fortune isn't loud, it's methodical, enduring, and deeply woven into Mexico's fabric. And though others rise and fall, the Slim legacy endures, proof that true power doesn't flash, it echoes through generations.